The trade rumor mill in Philadelphia is heating up again, and once more. All eyes are on Howie Roseman as the Philadelphia Eagles head into the heart of the NFL offseason. One name that continues to surface is Cleveland Browns cornerback Greg Newsome. Over the past several months, his name has repeatedly been linked to the Eagles. And honestly, when you break it down, the connection makes a lot of sense. Newsome fits the exact profile of a player Howie loves to target in these types of situations. Former first-round pick, high potential, some flashes of greatness. But coming off a down year that lowers his trade value, that's textbook Howie Roseman territory. To put this into perspective, let's rewind a bit. Not long ago, the Eagles were reportedly interested in Asante Samuel Jr. According to a story from ESPN, that alone raised a few eyebrows around the league, especially when you consider the fact that the Eagles didn't pursue Jaire Alexander, another big-name corner who was available and ended up signing with the Ravens. Could the Eagles' interest in Samuel have been the reason they passed on Alexander? There's no definitive answer yet, but it's worth noting that Asante Samuel Jr. is recovering from neck surgery he had earlier this year and is scheduled for a medical checkup in July. Until then, it's a wait-and-see situation. Switching gears a bit to the safety position. That's another area where the Eagles still have unanswered questions. Who's going to line up next to Reed Blankenship? That's the big debate right now. We've already discussed players like Sidney Brown, Drew Makuba, and the experienced Justin Simmons as potential candidates. Each one brings something different to the table, but no clear-cut answer has emerged. This is exactly why training camp can't come soon enough. Now, speaking of timing, we're right in that unique stretch on the NFL calendar where news slows down. June is usually the quietest month of the year, right before training camps kick off and the action really ramps up for the Eagles. Players will officially report to camp on July 22nd, and from there, things will start moving fast. It's during this window that front offices across the league begin making tough roster decisions. Position battles heat up, and teams realize where they have surplus talent and where they have glaring holes. Injuries happen, needs arise out of nowhere. That's when the trade market really starts buzzing. And here's the thing about Howie Roseman, he's always watching, always evaluating, and never afraid to pull the trigger if he sees an opportunity to make the team better. The Eagles front office knows they're in a win-now window. They're coming off a Super Bowl championship, and with the core of the roster still intact. The goal is clear: defend the title and position themselves for another deep playoff run. That means every roster spot matters, and Howie's not about to sit back if there's a chance to upgrade. Let's talk specifically about the cornerback situation. Last week, the Eagles chose not to pursue two-time second-team All-Pro Jaire Alexander. At just 28 years old, Alexander remains a highly talented corner. Though his recent injury history is concerning, he ended up signing a one-year deal with Baltimore worth $4 million, with incentives that could push it up to $6 million, given the relatively low financial risk. Some people were surprised that Howie didn't show more interest. After all, when Alexander is healthy and on the field, he's been one of the top corners in the league. But maybe the Eagles front office has its eyes on a different type of move. Maybe they're playing the long game, focusing on younger players with higher upside and fewer durability concerns. As things stand, the current cornerback depth chart for the Eagles is intriguing but far from settled. Right now, it looks like Kelly Ringo and Adoree Jackson are slated to compete for the starting spot opposite rookie standout Quinyon Mitchell. But that could change in a hurry if Howie and defensive coordinator Vic Fangio decide it's time to make a move, whether it's through a trade for someone like Greg Newsome or another unexpected addition. Nothing is off the table. If the Eagles do end up targeting another cornerback, it sends a pretty clear message. Either the coaching staff isn't fully sold on the idea of Kelly Ringo and Adoree Jackson locking down that starting role, or they're simply looking to bolster the depth at that position. It's also worth mentioning that when I was down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, members of this Eagles coaching staff remember the defensive staff remained intact. This offseason had a lot of optimism about Ringo's potential. They were genuinely excited about what he could become. His name came up unprompted when talking about players they expected to break out in the near future. But even with that internal belief, having more competition in the room never hurts. Now let's circle back to Greg Newsome. His name has been tied to the Eagles multiple times over the past year, and for good reason. Around the league, Newsome has been floated in trade conversations for quite a while now. When you consider what Howie typically looks for in a trade target, Newsome checks just about every box. First of all, he was a first-round pick. Number 26 overall back in the 2021 NFL Draft. And if there's one thing Howie loves, it's players with first-round pedigree. His philosophy has always been that a player drafted early has shown enough talent at some point to justify that selection. Howie trusts the Eagles' culture, their coaching staff, and their development system to help unlock that potential again, especially if the player hit a rough patch somewhere else. And that's exactly the scenario with Newsome. Early in his career, he showed plenty of promise. As a rookie, he earned a spot on the Pro Football Writers of America All-Rookie team. Fast forward to 2023, just 2 years ago, and Newsome recorded 14 pass breakups to interceptions and allowed a passer rating of 7 to 4.8 when targeted. Those are solid numbers by any standard, especially for a young corner still adjusting to the NFL, but things took a downturn last season. Newsome struggled with consistency, fell down the depth chart in Cleveland, and seemed to lose favor with the Browns coaching staff. Former Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, now the DC in Cleveland and the mastermind behind the Eagles' Super Bowl 52 winning defense, didn't lean heavily on Newsome last year. Part of that was due to a hamstring injury that landed him on injured reserve, limiting him to just 3 starts, with his stock dropping. The Browns started exploring trade options before this year's draft, but found no takers. That's telling. It means teams around the league know Cleveland doesn't have a ton of leverage here. For Howie Roseman, that kind of situation screams opportunity. If the Browns are eager to move Newsome but can't find serious offers, the Eagles could swoop in with a mid-round pick and get a high-upside corner without breaking the bank. Considering the Eagles still have decent draft capital at their disposal, this is the type of calculated risk Howie is known for taking. Think about it. Former first-round pick, proven talent, currently undervalued on the trade market. The upside is huge, especially when you factor in the coaching environment he'd be stepping into with Vic Fangio and defensive backs coach Christian Parker leading the way. Another aspect to consider is Newsome's versatility. That's a trait Vic Fangio absolutely loves in his defensive backs throughout his career. Newsome has shown he can line up both outside and inside. To put numbers to it, he's logged over 1,400 snaps as an outside corner and more than 1,100 snaps in the slot as a nickel corner. That flexibility gives the Eagles options. Newsome could come in and compete for a starting role on the outside, provide valuable depth, or even rotate into the nickel spot depending on matchups and injuries. Let's dive a little deeper into what Newsome did in 2023. According to Pro Football Focus, his overall defensive grade was 69.6, ranking him 55th out of 229 qualified cornerbacks. That puts him squarely in starting caliber territory. His pass rush grade was 66.2, ranking 49th, showing he can contribute on blitzes if needed. The coverage grade is where things get interesting, 74.6, which ranked 37th among all corners. That's impressive, especially given how much Cleveland's defense asks of its corners in man coverage schemes. As for ball production, PFF credited Newsome with 10 pass breakups last season, placing him 9th in the league among corners, despite playing just for 165 coverage snaps. For comparison, Pro Football Reference had him down for 14 pass breakups, showing how grading sources can vary, regardless of the exact number. The point is clear. Newsome still has playmaking ability when targeted. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The rumor mill in NFL circles is buzzing with a surprising development that could send shockwaves through the league. MEKHI Beckton, the massive offensive tackle, might be making an unexpected return to the field, and the Philadelphia Eagles are reportedly the team looking to make it happen. Whispers out of Eagles camp suggest the team is exploring the possibility of bringing Beckton into the fold. While details remain scarce, the sheer notion of the former first-round pick re-emerging, especially with a team as competitive as the Eagles, has ignited intense speculation. Beckton, known for his formidable size and athleticism when healthy, could be a game-changer if he can recapture his form. The Eagles, always looking to bolster their offensive line, would certainly surprise many if they pulled off such a move, potentially adding another significant piece to an already dominant front. This unexpected turn of events is quickly becoming the talk of the league, leaving many to wonder if Beckton's return to professional football is truly on the horizon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.